After 12 years, Starcraft 2 has just had its very first millionaires. But to understand how that came about, let's look at the top 20 prize money earners in Starcraft from the beginning.
Hell, it's about time.
The game was officially launched on July 27th, 2010. But months before that even occurred, there was already a lot of hype for the game, and tournaments held even during the beta. During this time, many players established a name for themselves, and are still remembered even today. Whiterah, Idra, TLO, even Demuzzle is here on this list, even though he's now an Age of Empires pro. When the game launched, Idra and Whiterah were at the top of the earnings table with a run of good results, and the first IEM featuring Starcraft saw Maru winning with super overpowered Reapers. Huck took first place in the very first MLG to feature Starcraft. Then Jinro won big at MLG Dallas, going to career as the first foreigner to make a super deep run in the GSL, hitting top 4 in the third open season. The first BlizzCon was won by Genius, with a $25,000 paycheck. But the biggest earners of the year were winners of GSL, which out of the gate had a prize pool of over $170,000 each season. Fruit Dealer, Nestea, and MC dominated the rankings due to GSL's infamous top-heavy prize distributions. MC's second GSL win launched him far ahead of the pack. And who can ever forget the Idra Huck hallucination game from MLG Dallas, one of the most memorable moments in Starcraft history. In May 2011, Polt and MMA both arrived on the leaderboard thanks to their GSL Super Tournament top 2 placings. By July, MC and Nestea were the first players to reach the 200k mark. And Puma won Season 1 of NASL. Here's Dongre Gu's first time on the board thanks to his DreamHack Valencia win. And there's Stefano, courtesy of a massive $30,000 earned by winning the IGN Pro League Season 3. Does anyone remember when Leenock won MLG Providence to claim $50,000? His total earnings still place him at number 32 of all-time earners today. The start of 2012 saw the Koreans continue to dominate the earnings, with MC and MVP battling it out for who was rank 1. Nestea was a solid third, with MMA eking it out ahead of Marine King for 4th place. MVP racked up 3 world titles and 3 GSL titles at a time when competition was incredibly fierce and most players from the early days were having a drop-off in their performance. This is when he became known as the King of Wings. Who enjoyed the era of Archon toilets? This was MVP and Squirtle in the grand finals of GSL Season 2. By September, Parting, the big boy himself, arrived with a huge $100,000 first place at the BattleNet World Championships, and $25,000 more at WCG. He had a stellar 2012, earning over $170,000, the best in his career. And here comes controversy. Life entered the leaderboard with his Royal Road GSL Season 4 win over MVP. Quickly followed this up by winning the MLG Fall Championship and the GSL Blizzard Cup. By the start of 2013, MC, MVP, and Nestea were still dominating the prize earnings, but Stefano stepped it up to 4th place, having had a huge 2012. To even enter the top 20 players at this point, a player needed to have over $90,000 in earnings. Over 4 foreign players were still in the top 20: Stefano, Nurchio, Mana, and Naniwa. Does anyone remember this? Polt giving Naniwa the thumbs down at the MLG Spring Championship. A super dramatic moment in such a mannered esport. In August 2013, MC became the first player to earn $400,000, with MVP close behind. The global finals in November was won by SOS, who stormed up the ranks, winning $100,000. In the years of his career, he became known as $O$ for his ability to win big when there's a huge prize pool on the line. At the end of the year, Innovation and Jaedong popped up on the list. Jaedong's huge legacy in Brood War gave fans a lot of excitement for him to replicate his success in StarCraft 1. Picked up by evil geniuses, Jaedong had a memorable career before going back to Brood War. When 2014 came around, the top 3 remained the same: MC, MVP, and Nestea. But MC's lead extended out even more. Since 2011, Polt had been steadily moving up the ranks. His rise to the top was anchored by big performances at 2011's GSL Super Tournament, WCS America's 2013 Season 2 and 3, and in the middle of 2014, he finally clinched 3rd on the leaderboard from Nestea. Meanwhile, Tasia was busy winning Home Story Cup, DreamHack Summer, and IEM Shenzhen.
GG! Ladies and gentlemen, Liquid Tasia!
Life shot up the leaderboard due to his $100,000 WCS 2014 Global Finals win, getting into the top 4 for the first time. He also won IEM Taipei in epic fashion. At the start of 2015, MC was a clear first place in the rankings. Zest made it into the top 20 by winning the IEM World Championship, beating Trap. Despite entering the leaderboard years into the game being released, he is still in the top 10 earners of all time today. And Bomber was firmly in the top 20 thanks to a big 2014, winning 2 Red Bull Battlegrounds and a WCS America. MC's dominance since Starcraft's release finally slowed in 2015, but not before he crossed over the $500,000 mark. In his career, he won 2 GSLs, DreamHack Stockholm, Home Story Cup, IEM World Championship 2013, 2 Red Bull Battlegrounds, and Season 1 of WCS Europe in 2014. See SOS and Life racing up the leaderboard? That was due to their first and second placings at the WCS Global Finals in 2015. At this stage, Innovation had also climbed to top 10 by winning GSL Season 3. But by the start of 2016, Life was embroiled in controversy when it was discovered that he match-fixed during the Casper Cup in Season 1 2015. His StarCraft career came to an end, and Korean sponsors started pulling out of StarCraft, harming the Korean scene irrevocably. 5 years after release, the top 20 earners of StarCraft all had over $220,000 in prize money, so it was extremely hard for newcomers to make their way up the list. Snoo had a huge 2016, winning WCS Copa Intercontinental and the Neo Star League, and coming second in the IEM World Championship. In October, Beyond won $200,000 for placing first at the WCS Global Finals. This was the biggest individual prize at the time in StarCraft and was played on the most interactive stage we've ever seen at BlizzCon.
There's no turning back now. One of these 2 players is going to become the world champion of StarCraft 2.
TY followed up by winning $200,000 at WESG a month later, with second place to Maru. He won another $100,000 by winning Katowice, and from the youngest ever Brood War Pro in the shadows of his teammates, he suddenly was one of the highest earners within StarCraft 2 within the span of just a few months. At this stage, you might notice that some of the top 20 were not earning any further. By 2017, many of StarCraft's early champions had retired, such as MC, Polt, MVP, and Liquid Hero. Innovation had a massive 2017, winning GSL Season 3 and GSL vs. the World, earning himself the name of The Machine for the way he played StarCraft. North America's Neeb joined the top 20 with his biggest year of StarCraft. And there goes Rogue. This was his breakout year, coming first at the WCS Global Finals and winning a whopping $280,000 for his efforts. After 4 years being at the top of the leaderboard, MC was finally overtaken by SOS. But SOS's reign at the top was short-lived when Maru won $200,000 at WESG. Rogue quickly joined both Maru and SOS at the top after winning another $150,000 at the IEM World Championship. In April 2018, Maru became the first player to earn $600,000 in StarCraft. He was a steady, but not standout performer in the earlier years after release, but in this 1 year alone, he earned a whopping $370,000. He won 3 GSLs in 1 year. And he would have been the top earner in 2018 had it not been for just one player. Winning $478,000 in just 1 year, with first places at DreamHack Leipzig, DreamHack Austin, DreamHack Valencia, GSL vs. the World, WCS Montreal, Home Story Cup, and the WCS Global Finals. It was Serral's year. By the start of 2019, the earnings landscape for StarCraft had completely changed at the top. After many second-place finishes, Suit finally won a major world championship, taking first place at IEM Katowice 2019. You could see how emotional he was in the post-match interview. This was a beautiful moment and was well-deserved.
God, it's happening again. Maybe this is really just the limit of the skill that I have. Maybe this is it for me once again. But I thought to myself, let me just show the absolute everything that I have. I just wanted to do my absolute hardest. And
by the middle of the year, Stats was in the top 10 thanks to 3 solid consecutive years. He won a GSL Super Tournament, and an SSL Star League. Our top 3 at this point was Maru, Serral, and Innovation. Dark stormed up the charts thanks to a big year, including a mammoth $210,000 from winning WCS. Serral claimed first spot for the first time thanks to a solid second half of 2019, where he won GSL vs. the World, the WCS 2019 Fall, Home Story Cup, and Nation Wars. Maru took the crown back, but their earnings rivalry was just beginning. Rogue's second IEM Katowice win brought him up there with Maru and Serral. Immediately after this event, the world shut down due to the pandemic, and all of the events went online rather than LAN. 10 years after Starcraft's release, the top 20 players were separated by $500,000. There were those who had already retired, like Snoot and MMA, whose enduring success in their respective eras meant they still held a spot on the leaderboard. And there were top-tier pros like Scarlet, Neeb, Classic, Beyond, and Parting, who all had illustrious careers, though it wasn't as dominating as the top 5. The total prize earnings in StarCraft held steady between $3 to $4.5 million between 2011 and 2019. In 2020, only $2 million was awarded to players. In 2021, even less at $1.6 million. The difference can be explained mostly by a lack of BlizzCon in those 2 years. It means that there are fewer opportunities for the top players to separate themselves from the pack. For a lot of 2021, the 3 at the very top kept swapping spots, all earning within $15,000 of each other all year. The debate for the greatest of all time, the GOAT of StarCraft, raged on. Was it Rogue, who'd won 3 World Championships and 3 GSLs? Was it Maru, who had won 4 GSL titles, but never any World Championships? Or was it Serral for his utter dominance in 2018? Thanks to his emphatic win over the likes of Dark, Rogue, Maru, and Raynor, Serral claimed his first IEM Katowice World Championship in 2022, and crossed over that $1 million mark. Rogue also snuck into the $1 million club with his semi-finals result. No doubt Maru is close behind. This video has taken a look at StarCraft history through the lens of player earnings. 12 years after StarCraft's release, there have been hundreds of players who earned money playing the game. Some made a few dollars in a random online tournament. And then you have the titans of the game who dominated tournaments and left lasting legacies that inspire all StarCraft fans today and into the future. Congratulations to our first StarCraft millionaires.